What's up guys, this is Wenzes. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about creating an epic life on your terms. Today we're talking about how to use your intuition to have success in life without working hard. And I really want to define what working hard really means for me. For me, this is doing something that you don't feel like doing. Period. There is no real magic behind it. It does not mean that you're not going to take inspired action. Any kind of manifestation, anything you want to create in this world has two aspects to it. You have to use your intuition to envision it, and then you have to take action, inspired action. But you can do it in a way where it actually makes you happy that instant. Because I never wanted to actually sacrifice my well-being for 10, 15 years so then I can be happy. We want to be happy today. We want to make progress starting today, and we want to do it in a way that fulfills us. So this is what we're going to talk about today. And if you want to know more about this concept, then check out the masterclass or sign up for the bootcamp. We're starting on Saturday. And if you want to work with me privately, you find all the information below as well. So first off, let me tell you this. I am really sick and tired of hearing people in the industry or just in society altogether, he is the hardest worker I know. She is the hardest worker I know. Like, this is the holy grail of what a successful person looks like. And if you look around, you see that more and more people are really coming forward and saying this is not the way it has to be. That does not mean, as I said, that you're not taking action. I'm being way more productive now than I've ever been, but it happens as play. And there are things that nowadays, if I do them, they kind of happen in the flow state. And I do that because I use my intuition very deliberately. And the same things, if I would have said to myself, you have to do them 3 years ago, I would have despised doing it. And I did. Maybe I did it anyways, but I know now that there's a huge difference in the way you approach it. And if you have strong intuition as part of your personality, you can use that to your advantage big time. So let's talk about success. Let's say your deepest wish is to be a shepherd. This is actually an example I used in my first book, Below the Radar Above the System. And there I talk about this example in detail. So let's say this is something you always wanted to do. This is the thing that fills up your soul. Then going and being some successful lawyer in a big law firm where you have to work 60 hours a week is not success. It really isn't. And a lot of people feel like it is until they're in it, and then they either have no interest in understanding themselves, they're miserable and they don't know why, or they actually say, this is not for me. I realize now that I thought this is going to be this great thing, and it isn't. This isn't Suits. This isn't this excitement that you see on the television shows, and it has all to do with just doing things that you don't want to do. I watched some videos of Jordan Peterson, and he always says one and the same thing. Most people don't have a career, that have a job. And having a job means that you do something and you get money for something that you don't like doing. So something you wouldn't do if people wouldn't give you money for it. So what are you going to do that's going to generate success for you? And I'm talking about success today. Yes, there will be some steps necessary in this whole process to get out of your current situation, and they will involve some things you don't want to do, but it's because of the steps you've taken before. It's not because of your new attitude towards success. So I, for example, once I said, okay, I need to start this channel because this is something I do even if I wouldn't get money for it. The first years, there was no money in it, and it wasn't because I thought in 10, 15 years, there's going to be money in it. I can live off this and this is going to be amazing. Thankfully, it worked out much faster than this, but it worked out because I was doing it because it was my vocation. It was my way of having success in life. I knew once I stepped out of this norm, once I started doing something that represents my personal success, then I will feel like I'm in flow. I will feel successful today. See, most of the time, the thing that makes us feel unsuccessful, the thing that makes us feel unfulfilled, it isn't that we haven't reached our goal yet. It is that we don't step up for ourselves, that we don't start fighting for ourselves. The moment you start taking the action steps that will make that happen for you, the better you'll feel, and you'll feel successful and fulfilled that moment. It will get bigger, but the ground stone is set, and that thing will take away all the anxiety you had. There'll still be some things coming and going. This is not something that has to do with perfection. We always improve ourselves over time, but it's a completely different energy. And when it comes to your intuition, it will help you a lot in understanding what success really means to you. So it's really time that you use your intuition, all that knowledge you have, all that power that you have of understanding what other people want, of understanding what their intentions are, how everything could be, and how you could improve all of those situations, to use that intuition to create your own life and understand how to do it. Because once you're able to use your intuition properly in order to create your epic life, you'll see that the answer has been in front of you all the time. It's been there. It's not like it's something you have to find. It's something that you create because of an urge that you carry within yourself. There's this purpose you have. And the moment you start tapping into it, you'll automatically know how to create success for your life, and in a way that becomes more and more in flow. So this is what I mean. In the beginning, because you're in a state where your entire life is built on the fact that you have to do certain things, that you have to make sacrifices, that you have to play by the rules in order to get out of it, it will take some work. And I really mean doing things that you don't want to do, but it's first off not as much as you think, not even close as much as you think. And second of all, you'll realize that the only reason why it seems like hard work is because you're still operating from this old paradigm. I, for example, remember when I first started recording videos, it was really hard work for me. And I say this over and over again because I remember it so vividly, how hard it was for me to get up in the morning, to sit down, to do my makeup and record a video. And then there were all the tasks behind that, right? Like editing the videos, like promoting it, putting it up. The show goes on, and staying consistent with it. Nowadays, when I sit down and I do my videos, it happens so much easier. It's just like automatic. I don't think of it as something that I have to do. I don't think of it as something like hard work, because I have a completely new attitude towards it. And that is really something where your intuition and your mindset will make all the difference. If you're somebody who's been conditioned their entire life that anything you want will cost you something, it will cost you some of your well-being. And most of us have been conditioned this way, either through our parents, our peers, society, the list goes on and on. You are not even aware of it. That's why it seems like so much hard work when you're about to start something that is out of the norm, when you're about to write one more application, although you have a job but you want something new. Sitting down on a Saturday and writing your application or improving your CV seems like so dreadful. That is the thing that is causing you to feel like this is not something I want to do, because we have those limiting beliefs carrying with ourselves, the things we have engraved into our system that are keeping us where we're at. And the thing with intuition is that there is a negative and a positive side to it. You can use intuition to change that paradigm, to change the way you see things, how you approach certain things. You can change that much easier than people who don't have a strong intuition within themselves, or they can't access it that well. Because this is in the end how it is. I believe we all have a strong intuition, but people who have it more prominent in their system, in their personality, we're much more able to access it. So it's actually much easier for us to learn how to manipulate our mindset into the positive. It's much easier for us to forgive. It's much easier for us to see it from a broader perspective. But the negative side of this is that we're also that much easier to be manipulated. And I don't mean it in a negative way of, oh, we're so will-minded. I just mean if you have a strong intuition, you absorb a lot. So everything you see around you, just people being miserable. And I'm not saying that other people manipulate you by wanting you to believe some story of theirs and that they can lie to you. I mean that just two people being miserable around you, that in itself has an effect on you because you have such a strong intuition and you absorb so much. So how are we going to use intuition to our advantage? We actually have to put all our focus into changing our mindset and into changing how we approach things, how we see certain things, to declutter limiting beliefs, to destroy any kind of stories we've been telling ourselves that are keeping us stuck where we're at. And it also means that we have to start forgiving. It really comes to play in all of this. Because what makes the difference between you just sitting down and writing your application and then sending it off to 50 places, or let's say you would make cold calls, right? Nobody wants to do cold calls, but let's say this is something you would do and it wouldn't bother you. You would just say, okay, I would call 50 people up and through that I create this business and then I generate that much money and then I go off and I pitch my idea to this because I have this money now and then I can use this money to create even more abundance, and the list goes on and on. The reason why we're not doing it is because it doesn't feel good to us. And because we have those stories in our mind that tell us that if I would do that, that would say something about me. It would make me feel maybe like a failure. It would make me feel like, okay, I'm not really that convinced that I want to do something that is good for society, because if I would go and do something that just generates money and there's no real meaning about it, like what does that say about me? And so the list goes on. And I had been struggling with this forever. So for the longest time, I felt like I had to stick to people and help them because nobody else would help them, although that meant that I couldn't focus on myself. And those people are the ones that kept me where I was at. I wasn't moving anywhere. I was doing the bare minimum. I was playing within the box, but I wasn't doing whatever I could to get out of the box and to create more abundance for myself. Because abundance and success is living your life on your terms, no matter how that looks like. And everything that keeps us at this current state is everything we need to declutter, and our intuition is the one that's gonna make that happen. We have to utilize our intuition in a way where it helps us to set a vision, to know exactly what to do to get there, to take step-by-step measures, although they seem so small and so hard, and to understand why we approach it from an I have to state and not from an I get to do this state. It's always a question of how can you do this in a way that generates happiness for you, that generates you feeling fulfilled and happy right this moment. Because you have those visions, everybody of us has them. But it seems like such a far way out. So let's say you would want to be an actor. That's the thing that really excites you, that makes you feel alive, and you know that you're so able to play off other people's emotions, so that's why you want to utilize this. And then you have this vision. Let's say your vision is to be in a big movie, and you know what the steps are to get there. Actually, we all know them. They are go on auditions, start with smaller plays, go to bigger productions, then the list goes on, and at some point you really get to a point where you're in these big movies. That's how it can work. That is something that we all know. But the steps seem so hard because you go on the first audition and you get rejected. And in that moment, you tell yourself another story of, oh, this is so much hard work. I have to keep getting rejected over and over again. This hurts. Going on those auditions is so much time. It takes so much energy out of me. And I want to have success in a way that makes me feel like I'm in flow. And so how am I going to feel like this if every single time I have to do something I don't like? Isn't that the example that I actually mentioned in the beginning of doing something for 15 years that doesn't bring you any joy, and then maybe you're gonna have success from it? It really isn't, because it's all about how you approach the situation. And I can guarantee you, if you approach it from a direction of I have to do this sucks, this doesn't make me feel good, at some point you will stop doing it. I think it was Steve Jobs who said it. He said, you have to choose something that you want to do, something that you want to be successful in, that you love to do. Because it will take time, you will get rejected, it won't be an easy ride. And if you don't love what you're doing, you'll stop at some point. Everything else would be ludicrous. And it is. It really, really is. And that is the reason why so many of us stop along the way. Why we have this thing of, oh, I would be successful if I would work at this company. But in the end, going there and working there doesn't make us happy. So, but what does? We have to look at it from a broader perspective of how we want our life to look like, and to really envision that, and to say, I want to have excitement in my life. I want to have peace in my life. I want to have a family, and I want to create something. I want to contribute something. I want to use my gifts to create more in this world. Whatever it is, you have to envision it. And then to understand that we need to change our approach to it. So the moment I said, I'm going to start doing this channel, I also decided to go for a better job. And when I say better job, I meant it was harder work. It was definitely a lot more money. And it also was a lot of more benefits, as in staying in nice hotels and being around people who are just as eager to create something as you are, but maybe in different areas than I deeply wanted to. But at that moment, this was the thing I needed to do, because this is all I knew at that moment. I knew my business, my vocation, or the way I talk to you, my channel, this is not the thing that is gonna sustain my life at this moment. But stepping into it gave me so much understanding of this is who I wanna be. This is what makes me happy. This is the thing that I had been lacking in my life so far. And because I had this understanding and I had this peace with myself, because I had this aspect, I could go over here and say, yeah, I'm willing to do something that makes me feel uncomfortable, but I approach it from this positive perspective of this is gonna generate a better life for me. I will see new things. This will challenge me. I'm excited because I can prove to myself that I can handle this. And I really look at it from a perspective of I get to do this because over here I get to do the thing that really fills up my soul. Over here I can do the thing that makes me stronger, that makes me more ambitious, that makes me just tougher so I can take on the next thing and do it better and do it in a way that excites me. You know, the tasks don't get easier. It's not like the things I do now require less discipline. And discipline is one of the things that really makes us feel like it's so hard. But it doesn't feel like discipline. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like play. Because I have approached it from a perspective of let me work on my mindset. Let me work on my intuition. I know where I want to go. I know what I want to achieve. And I know that starting today, I'm taking step-by-step measures to get there. And it does not matter if it takes me my entire life. It does not matter if it takes me 40 years, 30 years, 10 years, 5 years, maybe 5 minutes. Whatever it is, it does not matter. Because the thing that makes me excited about life, the thing that makes me feel successful, isn't the goal that I reach at some point. It's that instant, because that instant I had decided to follow my vision, to follow my intuition. If you have this gift of intuition, which tells you so much of this makes me feel good or this doesn't make me feel good, I have this vision of how my life could be, then utilize it. Start doing things to strengthen your intuition. Because so many of us go through life and we feel like, oh, I have this amazing intuition, but this is just talent. If you're not practicing, if you're not doing the work, you will not be able to utilize it completely to your advantage. So that means buckling down on meditation, really getting to a state where you feel like you're enough. Starting to learn how forgiveness work actually works. Because the things that are keeping you stuck where you're at right now, they're all the stories you've been telling yourself. I know this about me as well. The more I learn that I'm enough, and I mean really learn it, I mean it goes into my subconscious more and more, the easier it is for me to start doing things that'll get me there, because now I don't have a story about it anymore. It doesn't make me feel like a sellout if I go out and fight for a better life for me, when before this is exactly what I thought. But this wouldn't have happened if I didn't use my intuition. So watch, for example, some meditations on I Am Enough from Marissa Peer. They're great. They're on YouTube. They're for free. I'll even link it here. Then you can definitely watch my video on forgiveness. Because every time you forgive, and I mean honestly forgive, just let it go. It doesn't mean that you allow this person to have the same influence on your life as they've had so far. It means that you really don't care and you start focusing on the positive aspect of where your vision is going. And when you then understand that the more you actually do these things, you kind of break off all the cords that you have to your current life situations, to all the stories you've been telling yourself, and the list goes on and on. You really remove those things, then you become so much more aware of what steps you get to do in order to make your vision your reality. You stop having all these obligations towards yourself that it has to be perfect. And if it isn't, you're not going to take a step. Because if you would take the wrong step, you would feel miserable. You would feel like a failure, like you're unworthy. That is so often the thing that keeps us from actually taking inspired action. Action in a way that is really empowering to us and it's fun. And this is something completely different than hard work. Because hard work looks like this. You telling yourself, I know society says that I'm successful if I'm doing like such a great job at this law firm and making $300,000 a year and working 60 hours a week, or they tell you you're going to be successful if you take that path. In both those scenarios, there's nothing in it that really brings you joy, or it's just a small amount. I remember people telling me, when you work, you don't look at the clock. You don't really worry about how time will pass. Just focus on the task, because otherwise the time would go by so slowly and you'll just think about 5 more hours to work, 4 more hours to work, and the list goes on and on. Life doesn't have to be like this. This is what success looks like if you put hard work into it. It really means that you're doing something at the price of your well-being. There are different ways to achieve that. There's so many opportunities here. And because your intuition is so strong, it's easier for you to remove those stories, all those stories of the things that you have to do. You get to a place where every little step you do feels like play, where it's exciting, and it's not gonna happen overnight, but it's just step by step getting easier. It's taking the next step and it feels less like work than the last one. And the more you keep doing that, the more you feel okay and happy with who you are, because you don't have to prove anything anymore. That's how you feel when you feel enough. The more often you start taking those steps, the more in tune you are with where you're supposed to be, with the life that is more and more on your terms. You will start getting excited about making progress in your life and being productive. Every day when I do my bed, this is not a feeling of, oh, I have to do my bed. Why? What for? I get excited about it because it makes me feel like I'm taking control of my life. It starts with those little simple things. And if I wouldn't have used my intuition to actually buckle down on mindset work, so really working with a coach, I work with like a program that helps me. I go and learn new techniques. I do meditation all the time. I make sure that I declutter my life. All of this helps me to understand that I'm enough the way I am, that I don't have to prove anything. And therefore, I'm willing to take steps that others are not willing to take because it would say something about them, because society wouldn't accept them anymore the way they had so far. But you will see that the more you really tune into this, the more you work on this, you become so full of yourself in the best possible way that you need less and less reassurance. You need less and less acceptance, and you're willing and ready to take the steps that will make you successful on your own terms. Because you don't need this anymore. You're so full of yourself that you just feel okay and enough just the way you are. And then you start taking the steps as if it was a game, because it is. It doesn't change how you feel about yourself. You already are enough. It does not matter if you don't achieve anything on society's terms or not. It really doesn't matter. You're not gonna feel better. Marissa Peer says that enough is not a destination. It's something you feel inside. So it really doesn't matter. You don't do this because it will say something about you, and you're not scared to take the steps because of what this could mean. You just live it out because it has no significance to your self-worth. Your self-worth is always intact no matter what you do. And your intuition will help you so much in this regard. If you just buckle down, if you do the work, if you invest in yourself, as in watch those videos, take a course, if it's not with me, with somebody else, but invest in yourself. This is what I learned for myself, and this is the thing that has catapulted me the fastest, to understand that I need to buckle down, I need to understand myself better, I need to remove those things that are keeping me there, and I need to take those action steps. Especially for us INFJs, those action steps make the biggest difference. Those inspiring action steps that really get our life closer to where we want it to be. That's why I have the 5 pillars to an epic life, because these things will help you to actually get over so many of your resistances by taking small steps into those directions. This really gets you to the next level, and from there you're like on a higher level on that mountain. You have a much better view and your vision becomes clearer and clearer. So remember, if you want to join the bootcamp, we'll start on Saturday. I'm really excited and I'm so looking forward to everybody who signed up to see you there. We're gonna have so much fun and success on your terms. And you can always join the masterclass, of course. This is really working by yourself on the program. And if you want to work with me privately and want to invest that time, that energy, that money into yourself, then really look into that. All the information you find below. Like always, guys, I wish you a wonderful day, a great week, and I talk to you next time.